Good afternoon and good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome to the fourth of our Angel Tree webinars that we've been putting on. The previous three we've done, campaign settings, applicant management, and angel management, are all available on the TSAM YouTube library. That link will be posted in the chat message. And welcome back. I'd imagine many of you on this call have been a part of this call in the past, and so welcome back. But if you are new, I want to just take a quick opportunity to familiarize yourself with the interface here, because we're going to have a chance to show you um, sorry, forgive me. You're going to have a chance for you to ask some questions at the end, and so we're going to utilize the chat feature, the question feature, as well as being able to raise your hand and ask questions in person. So as questions come up along the way, please go ahead and utilize the question feature, and our support team is going to be able to answer a lot of those questions for you as they come up. If something is really pressing, or if you just really want to ask your question in person, by unmuting, we're going to save that for the end. Because of time, we want to make sure we get through all of the information first. So I'm not going to be stopping for questions in the middle of this demo, but we are going to have an opportunity at the end, both for questions about the sorting and distribution management toolkit, as well as just maybe Angel Tree in general. I know many locations are signing up, many locations are configuring, and if you've got a question that you have as it relates to this year, whether it's about distribution management or not, we're happy to be able to answer those questions. So just go ahead and familiarize yourself with this GoToWebinar interface. And we're going to give just about another 30 seconds or so for people to join. We are talking about the sorting and distribution management toolkit, and that was a significant feature that was rolled out 2 years ago in the Christmas of 2022. And this is based on a desire to give better visibility to both the angel sorting process, right? The processing of angels as they come back into your operation. Many locations have thousands of angels that they're trying to navigate, and they're doing so with 3-ring binders and sticky notes. And so we want to be able to give you a better tool to be able to manage your sorting process. And then also on distribution day, some locations have a significant geographic distance between a check-in process. I know at one location here in the Dallas area, their initial check-in process is just over a mile away from the actual warehouse because of just logistical issues. There's not the parking lot space where the actual warehouse is. And I'm sure people on this call suffer from those components in varying degrees. And so we're going to be talking about how the sorting, this management and the distribution management can help you streamline your operation. What I like to share is I was using this analogy, and my family on Fridays is pizza night, and sometimes we'll splurge and get something fancy, but more often than not, it's just ordering from Domino's. And if you've ordered from Domino's in the past, you know you can see the tracker. You can see when my pizza went in the oven. You can see when my pizza order was received, and I can see that someone named John is doing quality control on my pizza to make sure it's right. And then someone named Greg is bringing it, and he's in my neighborhood. So I get to see all along the way the steps that my pizza is going through as it comes to me. And so here, as we talk about these components, we're able to get visibility into what is the stage of this angel. Was it received yet? If it was received, is it ready for distribution, or does it needs attention? Do you have various quality control checks that you guys put into place for your operation? Now, there's going to be a tendency here to say, well, this seems to be a bit too much for my operation. And I will share with you that we had to build this feature for both the North Texases that process just over 37,000 angels in a given year, as well as the average core that maybe does 200 to 500 angels. And so this tool can be utilized for both to be able to give you those access. And so we're going to jump straight in here now. Again, be sure if questions come up, use the question feature. Our team will be able to respond to that as soon as we can. The first thing that we need to do in this system is we need to configure the distribution management toolkit. Now, I'm able to find that in my campaign settings. So go under admin, go to campaign, And if you scroll to the right here, you'll see a tab almost at the end called Distribution Management. Now, this has a couple tabs, different layers as we configure through, because I need to be able to configure all of my distribution sites individually, because the process may be different. The process may be something that has significant differences between one location and another. And so we're going to do that here. We have two distribution sites. We have the Christmas warehouse and we have the social service building. And we're going to configure these two distribution sites as one being a more basic approach, maybe a more simplified approach, and another being a more, I would hesitate to say complex, but I would say detailed approach of how we can go through and utilize this tool. And then once you select your distribution site, you then need to select your activity. Am I configuring the sorting or gift tracking side? This is really a way to think of this is the angel tracking. So this is going to be tracking the gifts as well as my distribution day tracking here. Now, within each one of these components, I have two elements. I have my various sorting statuses. Now, my sorting statuses, you may say, well, what do these labels mean? And the beautiful thing is you get to set what these labels mean. We have gift returned, received at warehouse, 3 different quality control sections, needs attention, needs additional gifts, and ready for distribution. In the end, you are going to select the statuses you would like to utilize and then configure them with a checkpoint location. Because we're going to use the example here. We've been demoing here in our test environment in the Tyler core. So we have some images of the Tyler core and maybe a Tyler warehouse that they utilize. But you might be saying, well, we don't have a warehouse. We have a gym, or we have a core. We tear down our chapel and use the chapel the week of distribution to be able to handle that. You're able to call these elements whatever makes most sense for you. That's going to be the key component. And so here, as we look at this, there's also quick links to FAQ section, and then we'll get to this components here at the bottom. But what I want to show you is that this tool is designed to work twofold, one of which is on a mobile device, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. I'll shrink my screen down to show you, but it's also designed to work with a Bluetooth scanner. Now, this is often where we lose people. People say, well, the Bluetooth scanner must be really expensive, or it must be very complicated, right? A Bluetooth scanner is not complicated. The beautiful thing is we've all utilized the self-checkout lanes at grocery stores, whether we enjoy that or not. We understand what it means to hold a barcode up to a flashing red light to be able to generate some type of code. And that's doing the same thing. And so here, as we jump in, I want to quickly show you a way to handle this. Go ahead and look at the in our FAQ library. If I just type in scan, see all the things related to my scanner. But I want to show you here this using barcode scanner. We give you some samples of barcodes scanners that you can use. For instance, here's one here. They all link to Amazon. You can see here it's $35. It's not an expensive tool. It connects via Bluetooth to your phone or your laptop or your iPad, your tablet. And many of these have significant ranges. We've seen locations that one person's scanning, another person is at a computer or on a device being able to enter in the necessary information. And so this is a tool that you can use. Again, go into the FAQ section. Eduardo will post a quick link to this specific FAQ just for quick reference, but please know you have to be logged into TSAM in order to access this FAQ. So if you just click the link now and you haven't logged in, you won't be able to get there. But once you log in, that link will work great. If not, just go to your FAQ and type in scan, and you can see these various options here. I do want to take a quick moment just to give a helpful tip, and I want to stress this as much as I can. These are Bluetooth scanners, the same way you have a Bluetooth mouse or a Bluetooth keyboard. And any Bluetooth device or Bluetooth headphones, any Bluetooth device wants to quickly link to the nearest device. And that device may or may not prioritize linked devices accordingly. I'll give a quick example. My wife and I have 2 different cars. Occasionally, if my wife drives my car, she'll connect her phone via Bluetooth to my car. She's welcome to do so, of course. The unfortunate thing is the next time I get in the car, if my wife gets in with me, my car will default attached to her phone and not mine because hers was the most recent. Now you're going to run into that a little bit with the Bluetooth scanner. We saw there's a battery saving device to where if the scanner is unused for 30 seconds, it will turn off as a way to save battery, which makes logical sense. But then what happens is if I've got two phones that it was connected to previously from a configuration standpoint, if I go to turn it on and reconnect it, my scanner might jump to my neighboring phone. And the best way for you to be able to handle that, and you can do this through some basic instructions, is to, is to forget a Bluetooth device. So if you go into your Bluetooth settings, it's hard for me to say exactly, but if you go into Bluetooth settings, you'll see what it's called in many ways called a NETM or a NATAMU scanner, and you can simply click on that and say forget device, and that will keep that scanner from a default connecting to the incorrect phone. So what we've seen some locations do, which work out really well, they have their scanner station where you go, for lack of a better term, check out a scanner to go do your work. And they have a check-in procedure. And so they'll come back, they check it in, and they say, please do these three things. Maybe wipe it down, maybe go through and forget the Bluetooth device on your phone to make it easier for the next time. And so that's a really helpful way for you to keep manage with barcodes. So that's our Bluetooth scanner. And so we're going to jump into configuring. So again, we have our statuses and our checkpoints. So I want to show you here now maybe a sample layout of maybe a basic warehouse. Again, this could be a core building, this could be a gym, this could be a rented space. Maybe it's don't get hung up on the term warehouse to say, well, I can't utilize this feature. What we're saying here is we have three stages of this warehouse. We have the place where the angels get dropped off. Maybe that's a loading dock. Maybe that's the front doors. We have the area that's abroad, just kind of ready for distribution, right? When the bags are ready to go, maybe you use the warehouse labels and you label them, and you have boxes or tables to be able to optimize space. But in the end, you have one specific area that's simply, these are where the return bags go. And then maybe you have a section off to the side where like if a bag came in that was feeling a little light, they got a t-shirt and a Hot Wheels car and you want to be able to supplement that a little bit. Maybe this is where you're over here on the side is where your toy shop is for your operation. So you can go ahead and utilize those components here. Again, this side of it here isn't as beneficial for those of you that utilize a Christmas warehouse, but the next section will be very helpful. But we'll come to that in a second. But I want to talk through, we have these three areas: received at warehouse, a place where we want to say this bag needs some loving, and we have a place for ready for distribution. So let's come back here and we're going to configure this warehouse as if it is set up in that way. So I know I want to use gift returned. I know I want to use needs attention and ready for distribution. Now, I can utilize gift returned or received at warehouse in whatever way I see fit. Now, the reason these are differentiated because this does give you the ability to check in the gift maybe at the pickup location. We've seen some locations that will utilize gift returned as they're picking up the gifts from that sponsored allocation from Smithville Chevrolet, and they're going to scan those 20 bags as gift returned and put it right into the bag. But we're going to use just received at warehouse. And when I'm ready, I'm going to click Save Changes. Now, as I click Save Changes, you see now here at the bottom, Configure Checkpoints comes up. This is the biggest thing that people forget. Just because I've selected statuses doesn't mean that my site is ready to go. In fact, it's quite the contrary. If I don't have locations in these associated with these statuses, the site will not work. It'll say that it's not configured. And that may seem frustrating to you because, well, you check the boxes and you click Save, but again, you haven't finished the configuration. So when I go into here, configuration, I'm going to say, what is it that I want to call these places? So received at warehouse, I can call this the front lobby. And you're going to put the term here that makes sense for you at your location. This is where it's going to be helpful. If you say gym entrance, if you say core entrance, if you say social service loading dock, in the end, what you're going to see is the applicant is able to go ahead and enter this information and be able to truly be able to kind of navigate through this well. So again, we're just going to choose front lobby. Needs attention, we're going to call it the toy room, right? Because that's what we call it here. Maybe you call it a toy shop. You label this as you see fit. And we said warehouse floor, but it's again gym floor. If you have different rooms, you can go ahead and utilize that as you see fit. Additionally, you can adjust the default flow. And so I can click here and I can drag and I can reorder these as I see fit. Because what it's going to do is going to present the natural order as these gifts come in. So when I'm ready, I'll click save. And at this point, my sorting management for my Christmas warehouse has been configured. Now, what do we do with this? If I scroll to the bottom, we need to be able to get to the volunteer interface. This is a public site that anyone can navigate to, and they can do one of two things. You can circulate this URL. You can actually just click this icon and it'll copy it to my dashboard. I can also show a full page rendering of a QR code. This is what we see many locations utilize. And so if I come here and show you what it looks like to print, this allows me to print these off and put these around the warehouse. That simply says, okay, when you come here to volunteer, just go over there, scan that QR code. It'll bring me straight to the Christmas warehouse for the Checkpoint web app. And so I'm able to go ahead and access the system that way. I can get to this document from a few different places, the first of which is here in our distribution configuration settings. I'll show you a few others as we go through. And so I'm going to cancel, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go ahead and just copy this code. And I'm going to go and I'm going to open a new tab. What we're going to see is I'm going to take this out. I'm going to resize this down because I really want us to be able to see here what it looks like on a mobile device. This is, in many ways, this is how this was intended to be used. At this point, I'm going to be asked to enter information and my name. This is my access point. So if I come here and I type in Jeff Marquis, I can go ahead and say, I'm going to do gift tracking. And what the system is looking to say, hey, this guy, you came and you registered before in the past. Now you were at the Christmas warehouse. Is this still you? And I can say yes, or I can say no. If you're the first one, it'll let you just move forward. But here what's happening is we want to have a unique name. So let's say this Jeff Marquis was not me, even though he's devilishly handsome here in this picture. So maybe I go back and I say it's Jeffrey Marquis or Jeffrey Alexander Marquis or whatever is the right differentiator, maybe adding a middle initial or a suffix, whatever is appropriate for you to be able to handle. And so what I do when I click yes, I'll just say yes. And so now I am in the system. And so this is where I'm going to, I have a Bluetooth scanner. I don't have it set up right now on my laptop. This is where I have a Bluetooth scanner that once I have my cursor in this little box, I scan it, and it puts it right in, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. I also want to show you here what this looks like as we go in, and if you need to be able to circulate, because maybe you're far away from the front where the QR codes are published, and you've got someone that came and said, oh, can you give me that code? On the page, I can get my QR code here, and I can actually hold it up to my neighbor, and they can scan it right from my phone. I can also copy the URL and send it via text if that's a better way to handle that. And that's something that everyone has quick access to, this QR code. And then what I'm doing is I'm selecting my checkpoint. Like, what task am I doing? Am I in the front lobby, which is received at warehouse? Am I in the toy room because it needs attention? Or am I on the warehouse floor marking things as ready for distribution? So I select the one. In this case, I'm going to be at the front lobby. And I'm going to quickly go ahead in here and I'm going to enter in a code. So I'm going to type in CW2000A. So this isn't my angel code. And so what this brought up here is it brings me up basic information about my angel. I can see here, I can see their code, I see their gender, I see age, I see the things that they put as a desire, right? Things that they would, their wish list. So maybe this is going to really help me when a bag comes in with just that t-shirt and Hot Wheels car. I can look and I can see exactly what it is that they might be interested in. And so as I come through here, it'll also show me where it was allocated to in the event that it was allocated to a specific agency. But I do want to show you before I go in and I check it in as received at warehouse. Micah was fortunate, and Micah was able to receive a bike. And so I'm going to come here, I'm going to check oversized gift, and I'm going to say he got a blue bicycle, a blue bike. So at this point, the system is going to know, and I'm going to see that, hey, Micah got a blue bike. I can come here, I click received at warehouse. Once I click that, it's been updated. I'm ready to move on to the next one. And so I can type in my next code, and look at this one. This one also has not been returned yet. There's not as much information here as I go through, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this one needs attention. And in my notes, only has clothes, needs toys, right? So this is a really simple way for me to be able to add a quick note, and I'm going to mark it as needs attention. Now the question is what happens with this information? Now, if I come back to my dashboard here, I'll need to come back and forth. If I come to my admin, I can go to my sorting dashboard. And when I go to my sorting dashboard, I'm seeing people that have been checked in, right? And so I can see here where something has been returned to the wrong location. I can see here where something has been brought into the incorrect needs information. So here it only has toys, needs location. I can say that Micah here has a blue bike. Oh, Fred also got a blue bike. And the beautiful thing here is, let's say you've got a volunteer that's showing up, and their job for today is going to be to address those bags that need attention. And maybe you don't have a separate spot where you keep bags that needs attention, but they're actually intermingled with other bags. Well, if that's the case, I can simply come up here to my filter, go into my status of those that need attention. I can refresh, and I can actually go ahead and I can circulate this out as needed to be able to address these specific gifts if I've got other angels that are there. So if I come down, I can also see how long these items have been updated. Now you'll see here on this angel here that we entered that needs attention, I can see that Eduardo has come behind and said it's ready for distribution. And so it's ready to go. He's able to, I can see that right here. And I can also see those that are oversized gifts. So I can come through here and I can see these components. This is the next place where I can get my QR code and link. I can copy the link here to be texted or pasted into a tab. I can also click this QR code link here, and again, this generates that same QR code image that we saw in the other document. And so this is a basic component. Again, 3 steps, even just one, just being able to check it in, because the beautiful thing is I go into my angel records, and I look at all of these angels that have been checked in or received, all of their statuses have been updated to fulfilled, right? Micah, Tia, Margot, Kara, these are all angels that have been checked in to the sorting distribution dashboard. And so now I'm able to come back and it automatically updates the status to fulfilled. I don't have to come back and make that status change. So let's jump ahead here, and I want to jump here to maybe a bit more of a complicated warehouse. So maybe you still have received at warehouse, you still have needs attention, you still have ready for distribution, but we've added in quality control checks. Now there are some locations that say, well, we utilize volunteers a lot and we love our volunteers, but volunteers are volunteers and we want to be able to just kind of have a few additional checks after the fact. And maybe quality control 1 signals that they need clothes, quality control 2 signals that they need toys, and you can differentiate them that way. Quality control 1 could mean that it was reviewed by by a social service person, and then quality control 2 might be the officer, right? You can utilize these tools as you see fit. And so as I jump back into my campaign settings, and I go to my distribution management, if we look at the social service building, now we're going to use more statuses. I'm going to use gift returned. I'm going to use received at warehouse, quality control 1 and 2, and needs attention. So I've got all 6 of these statuses set up. And again, I've checked the boxes, but now I need to configure my checkpoints. So, so my gift return is going to be on-site location. Received at warehouse, we'll use the same front lobby. Quality control 1, we're going to say approved by social service staff. Approved by admin staff. Then needs attention is the toy room again, and I'm able to handle these components. Again, this is more complicated in the sense that there's more steps, but the more statuses we use, the more granular we can be. the more specific we can be. And I know time is always of the essence of the Christmas season, and so you might be saying to yourself, well, I can't utilize these many tools. But in the end, the process here is still the same. It just gives you a better understanding of what happens. And so if I go in and I go back to my distribution dashboard, I can go ahead and I'll log in again. I'll confirm that I am Jeff, and then again, I can come back here to my angels. But now what I'm able to do is if I come here to, if I type in a code that's from a different warehouse, let's say, as I come in here, I'm able to go through, oh, I'm in the social service building. Oh, this is what I get. I was going to show you something different. Excuse me, I'm going to shift really quickly because I want to show you a cool component. I copied the wrong URL. I apologize about that. So let me come down here and grab this URL because they're specific to the warehouses that you're in. So now I'm at the Christmas warehouse, but I'm going to return a gift that's at a different warehouse. So now it's turned red. Now this is helpful to know because what's going to happen is I want to um, be able to see that this is a different location. So this is where you saw when Eduardo made the comment, but also I can go through and it tells me right off the bat because we have some locations that have multiple distribution sites and you keep them in different areas based on if it's going to this area or that area. So I can go through and right off the bat, it highlights that, hey, the system says this gift wasn't anticipated to come to this location. And this is the one where we thought they were going to go. So I'm at the Christmas warehouse, but they're going to the social service building. So I can still check it in, right? I can still mark it as received at warehouse, but I'm gonna then take it and be able to put it in the pile that goes to the social service warehouse. All right. So again, make sure you're posting your questions in the thread there as they come up. But now we're going to shift to the distribution side. Now, distribution is really about two things. One of which is this family ready that I'll touch base on this a little bit. But it's the majority of this is about the day of distribution. What does it look like on my day? And the same way we configured a basic and more a detailed sorting, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do a basic and more detailed distribution. And I will tell you, I'm not going to go as basic as this, but we saw locations that the only thing they did on distribution day was use the distributed status. Because the beautiful thing is when this gets utilized, it automatically updates the family and angels to distributed. So in real time, they're able to see how many more angels am I anticipating that are going to come through. And so it goes through and makes those statuses appropriately. And so that really saves time. And that can be done. We saw this done by, maybe your more senior volunteers that can only be on their feet for so long. Give them a stool, give them a chair, put them by the door as they're walking out the door. And it's a beautiful thing that they can just go ahead and just scan, click distribute it, and they are serving a vital purpose, even though they're not really moving very far in doing so as people are running all over the place on distribution day. So here I'm going to go ahead and we'll jump over here. I'm going to show you, this is an aerial view of the Tyler, Texas core. A wonderful core, as you can see, a large operation, has a shelter, has lots of components. And what we're going to say is this is the basic, we're going to set up first a basic distribution. And what we see here, we have two checkpoints. We have checkpoint 1 and we have checkpoint 2. And here all we're saying is this is where we're checking in and this is where we're checking out, right? So this is where, and I say checking out, this is where we're marking as distributed. We're only using these two steps. All right, you can see even though there might be other things, and we'll show you how they can kind of elaborate a little bit further. Again, check in and distributed. So as I come back to the Christmas warehouse, I want to utilize just those two statuses. I'm going to use checked in and I'm going to use distributed. Now, distributed is a required step because it's always going to end in distributed. That's the goal. So we'll save those changes and we'll come to the configure checkpoints. And here, all I'm going to say is the front parking lot and back parking lot. But you'll see here, there's some additional settings that we can utilize for distribution. The first of which is, do we want to give them a visible warning that they're in the wrong day or within a certain amount of time. And so if I come here and say you must be within 30 minutes of your appointment time, if they're outside of that, it'll turn red just like it did when we returned a gift to the wrong distribution site. The beautiful thing is it doesn't restrict you. It's just a warning. If you set up a policy that says, okay, don't let them through because you've got a large operation. If people show up early, it's going to really put a wrench in the works. We can only do 15 every 10 minutes, and so we got to really cut that down. This also allows you to, but it can still allow you to proceed through if maybe you're ahead of schedule and say, yeah, go ahead and push them through. Because unfortunately, sometimes people will come at some people come at 10 a.m. for a 2 o'clock appointment because there's this desire, maybe, or a concern that those gifts may or may not be available if I come later, even though there is an appointment. Additionally, do I want the family representative to sign to confirm receipt of gifts? This gets used in different variations, but this requires a mobile device that's able to go out to the vehicle. Right, so this is where you're able to go out. The applicant is able to see what was on the page, confirm they got the bags, and then they signed. It's a signed confirmation. This is something that many people use, and so I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and enable that as well. So I've confirmed that. I can see my additional options. So it must be within 30 minutes of my appointment time, and the applicant must confirm receipt of my gifts. Now, I get to this location, again, by going through the same fashion. I go to the exact same website, but when I go to log in, instead of going, I'm going to make this smaller again. I want us to see what it's like in a mobile device. Instead of going into what is early, in the gift tracking, I'm going to update family tracking. So I'm going to click here. And now, do you see how the interface is exactly the same? The difference being now, if I want to go ahead and type in TY 107, here I've got a lot of warnings, right? There's lots of things that are going on with this angel. Because here at this point, I'm going to see the current statuses of the angels, right? These angels appear to be not checked in at all. They're at the wrong location. They're not within 30 minutes of their appointment time. Something tells me that this family, we need to have some attention given towards them. So we're going to go ahead and move on to a different family. So if I type in CW2000, okay, here we go. So I've got a couple good things here, right? So it's green, which tells me that they're within their appointment window. I can see their sorting status. Now this, anytime I see red, it's because I'm anticipating something different. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. I'm going to quickly jump over and check this angel in. So to do that, I can just click this log out and it'll bring me back to my home screen. I can re-log in gift tracking. I'll put in my code and I'm going to go ahead and mark this angel as ready for distribution. So it's marked as ready for distribution. And now let me go back to my distribution side. Again, it'll confirm that it is indeed me who is here. And if I go back to this angel, this is what we hope to see, right? Everything is green and yellow, but there's no red, right? Everything looks to be correct, right? So in this case, we can see they have one angel who's been fulfilled, and they have an oversized bike. So right off the bat, I know most locations, if not all locations, keep their oversized gift in a different location. I also know because that occurs, inevitably, a gift or two gets missed as they're going through. And because this is displayed here, every single person that goes to process Carrie's application, they will see that there should be a blue bike, including the person that's going to mark it as distributed. So I can come here, I'm going to check Carrie in, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move on to the next one. And I'll type in my next family. Okay, Judy, also within her appointment time. Now, I'm a little concerned about Jimmy, but I can see Tia is ready for distribution. And I'm going to also go ahead. Oh, this one's already been checked in. Sorry, Eduardo has been moving towards us with me. And so it's been checked in. And so now what I'm able to do, if I come back In the same way we had a sorting dashboard, we have a distribution dashboard. Now, if I go on this distribution dashboard, I can see in real time the people that are coming in, right? And you're going to see a countdown here. This page will automatically refresh every 30 seconds. So I want us to think of it this way. You can utilize a TV screen, a projection device of any type to where you can literally set it and forget it, if you will. I'm going to stick it on the screen and it's going to continually refresh, and I can see when people have come in. I can see them in order. You'll see here in a second, it's going to refresh, and these times are going to be updated. And so I can go through here and I can see that Jolene has been waiting 3.5 minutes. Her daughter Kara has a red scooter. So I can come and I can see this. I can actually drill in to her angel as well to see quickly what's the additional information that's there. I can also come here. Actually, I'll touch on this in the more detailed. But when I come through here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my distribution management side. Oh, sorry. I need to grab that code one more time. And when I go to check them out, I'm going to mark them as distributed. And that, because I asked them to sign, what's going to happen is I'm going to literally give this to the person, the mobile device, the tablet, and they're going to say, I should be receiving one gift for Micah, who's age 3. And they'll be able to look through, I got my one bag, I'm ready to go. I'll go ahead. Those sign with their finger. Let me restart. That was a bad signature. I'll apply my signature. I can clear and re-sign if I need to, but when I'm done, I confirm distribution. And now Carrie, in her angels as well as herself, have been updated to distributed. You see these angels here? CW Micah, he's been automatically updated to distributed, so he's good to go. Now let's go ahead and jump over to our more detailed distribution management. And this is going to be for those operations. Oh, forgive me. Oh, sorry about that. All right. And so as I come over here, I can see here, this is a bit more detailed. So their flow works like this. Their cars come in, they get checked in here, they come around, maybe there's some holding pattern, maybe the city has said don't allow them to park along the side, so you kind of have to hold it, and they utilize the parking spaces, and they maybe are creative with the flow of the vehicles in this parking lot. But in the end, they check in, and then they come here, and over here, they're going to be marked as ready to pull gifts. But the person here is going to do a couple things, right? They're going to tell them a slot, so go ahead and pull in slot number 2. But they're also, on their notes, when they type it in, they're going to type in red pickup slot 2. So that way when the gifts come out from the warehouse, they know exactly where to go, what they're looking for. I know some locations utilize papers that they put in dashboards as a way to easily identify the vehicles as they come through. But the beautiful thing is here that this can be done for you. They're also going to utilize 2 additional statuses before distributed, one of which is needs attention, because despite our best efforts, sometimes things happen on the day of, and things happen on the day of, and their bags needs attention immediate on that day. So we can mark it as needs attention. We can also put them, we can also put them in a holding area. Think of when you go to McDonald's and maybe you got a large order, or you ordered a coffee drink and it's taken a little bit too long, and they tell you to pull forward or pull into a spot up on the side. This is where you cannot bog down your slots that you have here, and you can say, listen, can you do me a favor? Can you pull around and pull into this section here? And that allows you to keep the flow moving while maybe you put together bags or you address an issue that maybe came up. You're able to go ahead and handle these components. And as I come back here, I'm able to see this. I'm able to go through, and now let's configure that more complicated, that more detailed distribution management. So I'm going to select social service building. I'm going to look at my distribution day. And so I'm going to use family ready. I'll explain what that is here in a second. Checked in, ready to pull gifts, needs attention, and hold. So I'm going to use all but one of these statuses. I'll save my changes. And again, I still need to come and configure my checkpoints. And so I'll come here. They're going to be checked in not on the dock. They're going to check in the front parking lot. We want them to be just simply within the same day of the scheduled appointment. Ready to pull gifts in the back parking lot. They're going to be hold in the, we'll call it this literally just the hold area. Needs attention will be the toy room. Family ready is on the warehouse floor and front lobby. Now, when we talk about family ready, this is a way for me to go in and mark families as complete. One thing that often comes up, and I remember watching my wife do angel tree distribution, and she had these papers and she would go through and they'd have to use these highlighters to mark off every single angel that's been deemed ready to go. And then someone else would come back and walk line by line, row by row, and use a different colored marker to signify that all three or all four or all five of those angels are ready and they're indeed ready for distribution. That way, on distribution day, they can go and say, and if I see a red C on this warehouse label, it just stands for complete. And so I can go ahead and put that into place. This is that essentially the same thing. It allows me to go through and rather than looking at each individual family by itself, I can simply say, this family is ready to go. And so I'll go ahead and I'll save this. We're set up. We'll go into our specific site here. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a stuffy nose. So apologies. We're looking at our distribution day. Yes, this is me. All right. So we're going to get back to the same component here. We're on our distribution day, but now we're at the social service building. We're going to be looking at these options here. And so I'm going to go ahead and grab this family here, TY100. So I can see they've got all five of these gifts. And now maybe whether or not they utilize all the different tools or not, I'm going to come through and I'm simply going to say they are family ready. Their family is complete. And I can work my way through and I can go ahead and type in these items as I come through. I can check them in, right? I can do lots of these things very quickly, right? And let's say here I'm gonna go with ready to pull gifts. Oh, I'm gonna come here and I'm going to play, in the notes here, I'm going to say red pickup truck, slot 2, all right? I'll go ahead and place that one on hold, and I can keep doing this as quickly as I need to. It goes even faster. Oh, I got it. I can use this, the quickest one as I see fit to be able to go through and update these information. So I'm going to go here. So I'm going to call this gray sedan, slot 3. I'm going to say they're ready to pull gifts. So I'm going to go through and I can update these as I see fit. And again, on my distribution distribution dashboard, I can see these families that are being updated, right? And this is where a beautiful thing is, this is going to look at all of my distributions. So for those operations that have multiple locations that might be happening simultaneously, I can see here these various distribution sites. So I can actually set my distribution site and say, only show me my social service building. So from your seat, you can see a status, especially for those of you that may be area commands and have a broader structure. I can see these components. And so if I'm here on my distribution dashboard, the last thing I want to, that's pretty cool that you're able to utilize is identifying a gift puller. And the way for me to kind of identify this is looking at like a traffic cop, right? One person that kind of hangs out at the front that helps to guide the volunteers and what to do. That keeps me from sending three volunteers to go get the same bag, only for the 2 of them to come back and say, I can't find it. So I can come into my gift puller, and again, it's going to look at the people that have logged into the system. And so I'll say Jeff is going to grab that one, and it's been updated. And then this one, Eduardo is going to grab this one. And so in this moment, if I'm trying to find where this bag is, I can look at my dashboard and say, Eduardo, grab that bag. And so I'm able to go find him in case there's a question about it or I'm not sure where it's at. I'm able to identify this individual, get that information squared away, bring them outside, distribute it, sign if needed, and all this information automatically updates the system for you to be able to efficiently process a distribution day and your sorting management beforehand. And so we're about 15 minutes beforehand, and we always try to do this. And so we want to open this up for questions. So